Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Kitchen Dough, the food entrepreneur show. I'm Mary Goulet.
And I'm Heather Ryder. And joining us in the studio today, we are very pleased to have David Barron from Jackie's Jams. And I love Jackie's Jams. I told you that.
I love Heather's malasadas.
Right? It's just a food love fest. And so I was first introduced to Jackie's Jams when Jackie owned it, and she was an empty nester, I believe, that started the company. And then David Barron and your wife bought it, and now it's a family business. Pretty exciting, right?
It's very exciting.
What did you do food before you owned Jackie's Jams?
No, I was a lobbyist.
You were a lobbyist.
And I did government
that makes sense.
Political consulting.
Okay.
And I needed a life change.
Yeah.
And we were customers of Jackie at the Hillcrest Farmers Market. I'd go with my kids, and we'd buy a jar of jam, maybe 2 jars every week. And my son, Jonah, took a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to school with him every day. Religiously, every day he had a PBJ. And one day, I ran out of the Jackie's Jams. And so I ran over to Vaughn's like at 6:30 in the morning, bought some jam that wasn't Jackie's Jam, and made him a sandwich. And he came home from kindergarten, and there was one bite taken out of his sandwich. And he said to me, "Dad, you didn't use the Jackie's Jams today, did you?"
He's got a palate.
He's got a discerning taste.
Wow.
And I can't believe he didn't finish the sandwich. And I go, "Well, how did you know?" He goes, "I could just taste the difference." And my son is a man of very few words. But in kindergarten, he knew the difference.
The strong, silent type.
Strong type.
Wow.
And so we always kept that in the back of our head, and we still were buying. Now we always bought the Jackie's Jams. We never ran out. And one day we were chatting with Jackie and Robert, her partner, and Jackie said, "I'm getting kind of tired. I want to sell the business." And we had a bit of a nest egg, and we said, "We'll buy it from you."
Oh.
And a couple months later, I worked with her for a few months just to learn how to do everything, and then she worked with me for a few months to help me transition to it. And 6 months later, really, it was all done, and we had our own business going, and we made some changes to the label, and we expanded through Whole Foods. Now we're in, I think, over 30 Whole Foods, and when I bought it from Jackie, we were in 7, and
Wow, that's very cool.
we moved into, I think we're up to 70 Sprouts
Wow.
and lots of restaurants and hotels in San Diego.
So,
Yeah.
But that's been 10 years to get to that point. It didn't
Right.
happen.
It didn't happen.
Right.
The overnight success,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
so that's kind of my question, because what if somebody listening to our show is thinking, gosh, that sounds really cool. I want to pursue something like this, and it could be any type of food product. What would you say you wish you knew then?
Wow, that's a good question. I wish I knew how to really, I have to deal with a lot of issues. I have to deal with unemployment law. We have a bookkeeper that just does our payroll and all that stuff.
How many employees do you have?
We have 3 employees in the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
We have a bookkeeper.
Uh-huh.
And then my wife, who has a regular full-time job, also helps out.
Yes.
Of
She has 2
course.
full-time jobs.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, and you were saying the other things that you wish you had known.
Well, I wish I would have learned some efficiencies a little sooner in the process.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know what? I manage vacation rental properties that I own. And Heather started her donut business, which we'll do a whole show on that one day.
And they're great.
Yes.
Thank you. Jackie's
So-
Jams is great. I use Jackie's Jams in my donuts.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. The guava is unbelievable.
And so when you started doing this 6 months ago, not even, whatever, I told her, I said, I manage my vacation rentals myself. I don't have somebody do it for me. I clean them myself. I hired a housekeeper for my house. I clean them myself because I've interviewed people who have vacation rentals. And if I get one negative review, even if it's a 4-star instead of a 5,
Only you have the dedication to your product.
exactly.
No one else has the same dedication as you do.
And when you have that, there's an efficiency. Like I told Heather, I said, Heather, it's exhausting now, what you're doing, but every time you learn how to make it more efficient, you streamline it to train someone else. Now, I will eventually. My system is totally different because random dates of moving in and moving out, okay? It's easier. It's on my property. I run over. I do it. But I tell you, I don't touch a pillowcase more than once.
Yeah.
I'm that efficient.
Well, you learned the efficiency. You were telling us about the labels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us
So
about
when we
this.
first bought Jackie's Jams, Jackie had a variety of labels, and they didn't all have the picture of the fruit on it. And sometimes they had pictures of her grandchildren on them. And there were interesting labels. And there was also fabric on the top of every jar. And what I encountered at the farmer's market was sometimes we have people who don't speak English, and they come to the farmer's market. And I had to use a translation app on my phone to try to explain to them what was in that jar.
Oh.
So within the first couple weeks, we brought on a graphic artist, and we bought images of every type of fruit. Mm-hmm. And then we transitioned the label to have the picture of the fruit on there, because someone doesn't know what that is if it's a picture of the Ocean Beach Pier, because she had a lot of San Diego visual pictures, but didn't tell what was inside the jar. I want someone, if they go to a Whole Foods or a Sprouts, to look at that jar and go, strawberry, boom, take it. Not have to really think what is inside that.
And your labeling's beautiful. It's clean. You know exactly what's inside. It's attractive. You want to taste it.
But we kept the fabric on the lid for about 6 years. And we would buy bolts and bolts of fabric, and then we would cut it in these tiny little circles and with a rubber band, put it to the top of the jar. And it was extremely time-consuming and expensive.
Right.
And you had to make sure the fabric was always in stock. So you'd have to find that fabric all the time, because that was what was on the shelf. You needed uniformity. And one day, one of our employees, she was a student at San Diego State. She wanted to finish up her accounting degree. And she said, Dave, I really got to go back to school. I have one more year left. I just want to bang it out. And that was like on a Friday, was her last day. And then a couple days later, one of our longtime customers said, I really hate this fabric. And took it off the jar and handed it back to me. And I was like, oh my God. It was like an epiphany. And the next day I called our graphic artist, Michelle, and I said, please produce tops for our jars. And 2 days later, those were on every jar, and I haven't looked back since. And just recently, we found in the back of our warehouse a box of fabric squares, and I just gave it away to
She's
an art
like,
studio.
please, somebody take this
Yeah.
away. So that is one of the lessons learned. But what has been your greatest joy about doing a food business?
The sense of self-accomplishment, that I'm not reliant on someone else. When I was a lobbyist, I was reliant on you telling me you were going to cast a vote in a certain way, and hopefully you were going to do that. And if you didn't, well, then I had to explain to our client why that happened, why I said it was going to go one way and didn't go the other. And I was really at the beck and call of everyone else's thoughts and ideas of that moment. Well, now I control my own destiny, and we like that.
That is a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why entrepreneurs, it's that freedom,
Yeah.
truly. So what have been the best moves you've made?
Well, the best moves we
The
made.
label.
The label.
Label,
Definitely the
definitely.
label. The picture of a fruit. So you know that's
Marketing.
an apricot. Yeah.
Marketing's huge, right?
Right. And one of the first big breaks we got was working with Chef Bernard Gillis of the Marine Room. He was one of our first commercial chefs to take us on. And from that, we moved into La Jolla Beach and Tennis Club and the La Jolla Shores Hotel, which all fall under the La Jolla Beach and Tennis Club property, which Chef Bernard is in charge of all three kitchens. And his support and his support of us is what allows us to go to other restaurants, because they say, well, who else uses you? And we say, Chef Bernard uses us.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, well, that's good. And then also some of his chefs, his junior chefs, move on to other restaurants. And so we travel
And they
with
take
them.
you. Well, just real quick, the one question I want to ask you. So you're in all these farmers and all these Whole Foods markets and Sprouts and restaurants and hotels. Why do the farmers market?
Because I like being in touch with the people.
Yeah.
I like seeing people. I like having the reaction when they get our jam. And it's also a big source of our income.
Do you give them samples,
Oh, yeah.
like little?
We
What?
have a cooler with every flavor of our jam in a squeeze bottle.
Oh, okay.
And so you can come up and say, hey, Dave, can I try your blood orange? and I get you a fresh spoon, and we squeeze a little bit into it, and you taste it.
Okay, so I want to go back because it sounds so easy, but it's been 10 years. How did you get the attention of Chef Bernard? What was your sales? Are you the sales guy?
I'm the sales guy. I make the jam.
And we wash the dishes at the end of the day, right?
Right. And I mean, how did you think of that, and where was your bravery and boldness to go and approach him? Was it email? Was it knocking on the door?
Well, he had a chef who now is the head chef of the Intercontinental named Amy DeBassi. And Amy called us one day out of the blue.
I was just going to say out of the blue.
And she said, we're going to be down at the farmer's market. We want to try your jams and possibly bring them into our restaurant. Okay, that was like on a Thursday, and she was going to come on a Saturday. And she and Chef Bernard came to the Little Italy Farmers Market. We were still setting up, and they tested every one of our flavors. And then 2 days later, they started ordering jam from us.
Wow.
Okay, so
Those
I call
farmers
that
markets, they do get you out to the
Yeah.
people, and people can come and taste, and
And if I see someone walking in the market that's a chef, if they have their jacket on, I scramble to put together a box of jars for them, and I just hand it to them in our business card. And sometimes we get traction from that.
And you
Awesome.
approached me when I was at the farm,
Yeah.
because we were at the same farmers market. We do the Hillcrest Farmers Market together, and I started at the Hillcrest Farmers Market like a couple months ago. And you approached me with the jam, which was, I was so pleased. Oh my gosh!
I know it goes by super fast.
I know we're going to be interviewing the Cravery. You also work with the guys at the Cravery,
Yeah,
the
we
cookie
supply
company.
them with some of their jam they use in their mixes.
Oh my gosh, it's such a good start. You're going to be coming back, I
All
hope.
right.
Okay?
Yeah,
All
that would be
right.
terrific. Okay, you've been listening to Kitchen Dough, the Food Entrepreneur Show. We'll be right back.
Whether you are a woman, a man, or a young person, your time in a hair salon should be special. I'm Doris Rivas Brecky, host of Daily Dialogue with Doris on WS Radio, and I look forward to those special moments at Fantastic Sam's located at 124 West Main Street in downtown El Cajon, California, and the Fantastic Sam Salon at 9723 Mission Gorge Road in Santee, California. I go to both depending on which way I'm heading out for work. Both salons are conveniently located by two major freeways. The Fantastic Sam's experience is always positive, uplifting, and family-friendly. Fantastic Sam stylists put your hair needs and desires first. So if you don't know Fantastic Sam's in El Cajon or Santee, California, why don't you give them a try and tell them Daily Dialogue with Doris sent you.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get to the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life. live it well.